traditional translators like Google Translate seems to be more limited to get the, let's say, the practical, let's say, the context, the broad context of a book. But with these models, they become more accurate than any, let's say, translation tool in the market right now. Like DeepL, it's you recommend that tool, for example,
Yeah,
it
I
get
like
more
this.
of the context than Google Translate, for example, who are a very mainstream app. If I have the interest to translate Jane Austen for to Portuguese, and if I use the, let's say, this this new technology, it could be more, let's say, accurate enough with a little things to fix in the text, maybe. In the If you just copy paste, if you use the automatic translation to translate Jane Austen with Google Translate, it could be very, let's say, very bad. It could be very literalist and not in the simplified text very well.
Yeah.
But if you have the, let's say, this more contextual knowledge of natural language processing, you are able to translate that in a more, let's say, uh, close to the original. In the You could use that to have ideas, different ideas of to translate the same sentence, and it could be a good tool to translators to translate literary works.
It's Google Translate don't works perfectly. In some case, works wrong. I see a person say in the past that they try to translate in fast, the word fast in context, but fast depending on the use as a verb can mean not to consume food like jejuar, but in the majority of cases the translate of Google use fast as speed, velocidade, or rápido. So they try to use other translators or AI in the outcome was better or better. So
Yeah.
I don't think translators you disappear. You can use translators to use these tools and to improve the translation of this tool. Is- Technology is a tool like anything. You can utilize or you can think that is magic. It's not magic and not perfect. Even specialists can be wrong about the translation. So I think the better use of that technology is to complement it with a specialist. Even even though the result is better than years ago, I think it's very fair to compare and to see it's correct because even you human can commit mistake, machines can do the same because machines are not person, they don't have feeling or emotions, but they use the human previous knowledge to generate content.
It could be a interesting method to learn a language, like try to translate a book, for example. Get a book, translate every sentence, use the translator, but try to recreate, because it's not so hard task like in the past. You could translate a book sentence by sentence faster than before, and it could be a good way to let's say to learn a language which you don't have so much comprehension, because For example, for me, it's not worth to try to translate English text. I just need to read. But in the case of Japanese or Russian, maybe could be a good way, a good method to learn words in the initial phase to learning a language. And it's like a very slow reading. It's like a slow reading, and over time you could speed up the reading to be able to get more information.
I think in the future, you maybe we use ChatGPT or other AI to serve like a particular professor because they can speak through through a synthesized voice and is very responsible, not totally responsible, but if the contents if the window contents can be more larger, then we can think like a person that can memorize and think about the last and previous conversation and we can develop a path or uh, a process to learn any language. Maybe in the future we can talk, for example, to ChatGPT. Hi, ChatGPT, I wanna talk or learn a language, and they can teach us or serve like a person. Because, of course, talking with a person is better, but if you have a technology with a range of topics that you enjoy and that you will not be uncomfortable to talk, then can be okay to talk and to develop your skill, not to develop it, but to gain confidence and to learn more, not the language, but the content in the language. Because language is a tool for knowledge. Like we say often, language is not only a language, not only a knowledge, but a knowledge to gain other knowledge. Is like a process. I truly believe the language is very near to the mind because we cannot think without language. Of course, you can think about image, but when you try to describe that, you use language. So if you wanna develop a concept or knowledge, you need to understand the language and utilizing some AI, you can gain confidence and you can gain input to this field, to this subject, to anything you like. I don't know if that's what will happen, but I believe that probably is true.